Well, good afternoon and welcome to the AFC Vacations 2024 Tour Preview. My name is Reece and I'm happy to join you today from California, talking about the numerous and varied trips we offer for next year. Right now we have a number of tours going out the door this week and still some room on our holiday tours for 2023, including our Mexican Riviera cruise at only $14.99. But we're shifting our focus to 2024 and excited to bring you an extensive list of new trips and destinations we haven't offered in quite a long time, as well as the longtime favorites of past AFC travelers. So new destinations include places like Venice, Italy, Croatia, Australia, and New Zealand. If you're looking to stay closer to home, I'll be covering fun destinations like New Mexico and Tucson, Arizona, and our Sierra Snow Train journey over the Sierra Nevada mountains. Now, we have a lot of new discount offers as well, and I'll be covering our brand new loyalty program with AFC called the Travelers Club. There's so much to cover, and it's all in our brochure, which goes out every other month with updates and new programs. So let's jump in and hit the road. Now, we offer worldwide tours and cruises. These are programs that span the globe. Right now, we're covering 5 continents, whether it's our land tours, by motor coach, train trips through Europe, or the national parks. And we also plan outstanding European river cruises and send travelers on ocean cruises with several major cruise line partners. We also offer a variety of styles of tours, our most popular being an Unpack Once tour. And these trips are noted for staying at one hotel for your entire stay, allowing you to unpack your suitcase and settle in. Now, for over 25 years, we've been making travel easier by providing round-trip airport pickup service. We pick you up at your home, take you to the airport, and bring you home from your return flight. And it takes a lot of the guesswork out of getting to and from the airport. We now also offer a $100 travel credit if you make your own arrangements to and from the airport. So with the growth of Uber and Lyft, we found that more people are asking about this method of travel. And that means if you choose not to take the home pickup, your final payment will be reduced by $100 per person. And that's a great savings, especially if you're sharing a ride. Now, what's included on our tours? Pretty much everything. We have a very inclusive program with no gimmicks like free airfare. We show you the price for your tour with round-trip air. Now, our tour managers are also the best in the industry. They're helpful, organized, and they care about maximizing your travel experience. The hotels, activities, and dining we provide give you a great taste of local life, and many of the meals have regional specialties incorporated. We include cultural experiences in a lot of our meals, especially when it comes to destination-specific tours. And these are very well-located hotels that we use, very comfortable, and the included sightseeing make our trips memorable. Now, guaranteed pricing is a great feature as well. And once your deposit is paid on your tour, your price is locked in. So even as fuel prices change for motor coaches and river cruise ships, once you put your deposit down, your price is not going to change. For example, last year we were sent a $10,000 fuel surcharge for one of our cruises. And we absorbed that cost. We didn't pass it on to our travelers. And that's what you can expect from us. We also have guaranteed departures. So when you see the GD symbol in the brochure and on the show, that means we have enough passengers to travel on that departure, and that's going to run. Now, as we move through the end of the year and into 2024, you'll see more of these programs going to guaranteed status. And what's new for 2024 with AFC? Just last month, we released our new Travelers Club loyalty program, and it's a simple and straightforward way for you to save money and get rewarded for your consistent dedication to AFC vacations. All you have to do is book a 2024 tour or European river cruise with AFC, and you're automatically enrolled. You then receive a $100 credit off your next tour or European river cruise within 18 months. So if you travel within the next 18 months after your first booking, you're automatically receiving $100 off. Now, every tour you book after that, you'd receive another $100 off. So it's that easy. For example, if you book a tour in January 2024 and travel, you have 18 months or up until June 2025 to travel on your next AFC program to use that $100 credit. We want to reward our consistent travelers with something worthwhile and also stay true to our name, Affordable First Class Tours. Now, AFC started based on word of mouth, and it's extended now to travelers all over the United States. So you can save money and create lasting travel experiences with close friends by booking with us. Our updated Refer a Friend program can add to your savings, and for each traveler you refer to AFC, you receive a $100 travel credit. So once your friend travels with us on a tour or European river cruise, that credit will be applied to your next booking. If you've traveled with us in the past and want to share in the memories, tell a friend about AFC and make sure they mention you as part of the process. Now, we also extended our early booking savings to make your money go further. And if you're within the first 20 passengers to book on our European river cruises, you save $200 off that total rate. The 21st through 40th traveler will save $150 off that cruise as well. For many of our land tours, our early booking savings applies to up to $100 as one of the first 20 passengers to book on a tour. And we've increased the second tier of travelers from 21 to 40, and that saves $75 off their trip. So we definitely make different ways to save money, and you would just need to pay your final payment by check to be eligible for the early booking savings. Now, one of the biggest pieces of booking with AFC is that you get real people and real service handling your booking. Folks always mention their relationship with Joe, Dave, Holly, and Sam in conversations, and we have a team that you can trust. And AFC has been in business since 1982, with over 41 years in the travel industry as a company. Our staff, many of them have been working with us 15 to 20 years, and they have a combined over 125 years in the industry. So we'll make your tour easy and fun. We are also a member of the USTOA, and that's a select group of the best tour operators in the country. This provides a $1 million policy of consumer protection, so you know you're safe with your booking with AFC. Now let's get into some of our great programs for the year. We'll start out with our mystery tours, and these are a huge success. They sell out nearly every departure, and we have over 60 different mystery tour destinations with fun-filled activities. Our staff is here to help you pick the right departure for you, and if you've done one or more of our mystery tours, our team can direct you to something new. And when you book, you'll be advised how to pack, the average weather in the destination, and some helpful hints. About 3 weeks prior to departure, you'll receive your travel info in the mail, and that comes in the form of a packet. It has specific tabs to keep things a secret, but if you're too curious, you can choose to look. Now, whether it's the folks at the airline counter or someone on the plane next to you, it's always fun to tell people you have no clue where you're going. And once you check in, you'll get your boarding pass and find out where your first destination's to. And the tour manager will meet you in baggage claim on arrival. And over the course of the trip, they'll reveal tour components or give you clues along the way. So these are trips for those who have a sense of adventure, don't need to know all the details, and they're very creative and fun itineraries with the seasons and weather considered. Now, Alaska Call of the Wild was released in 2023 and had some great success. I was just up in Alaska this June, and it continues to shock and inspire me. We saw a bear within 30 feet of us and another off in the distance. The whales were also moving north to their feeding grounds, and a baby humpback whale was coming with its mom splashing its tail. Now, we experienced the last frontier in style by flying into Anchorage on this program. It's an amazing sight to see the sun out at 4 a.m. like it's the middle of the day. But they plan for that. They have darkened curtains and so forth in your hotel rooms. And from our first night in Anchorage, we join a domed rail car and take the train up through the forest and wilderness up to Denali for 2 nights. That's where we enjoyed the tundra wilderness experience, looking for brown bear, moose, and eagle. Hopefully with clear weather, Mount McKinley or Denali will be on full display. And this is one of the most majestic mountains in the entire world. We head from there to Seward, and that's where we take in Kenai Fjord, pictured in the bottom. We take a wildlife cruise in search of a number of different species and enjoy lunch on board. And then that evening's at leisure, so you get a chance to explore Seward on your own, go out fishing, see Seward's historical downtown or the harbor, or explore one of the many optional tours available. This is one of the bucket list items for most travelers, so don't miss out. We have 3 different departures on this in the summer of 2024. That's June 20th, July 18th, and August 15th. Now, we all know the devastation that Maui encountered with the fires this summer. That's why we canceled our November departure to give them time to recover. But the islands and the hospitality workers have asked that travel return, as it's such a big part of their economy, it's their livelihoods, and it really is the aloha spirit that they provide. So our 3 Islands program has so much to offer, and we planned our tours for the spring to provide an exceptional experience to one of the most beautiful places on the planet. The islands are full of this aloha spirit, welcoming and positive, and we visit Oahu and see Pearl Harbor, Punchbowl Crater, as well as Honolulu City Tour. Now, an optional takes you to the North Shore and the Dole Pineapple Plantation to learn about the pineapple and sugarcane industries. And next, it's off to the Big Island. That's where we see the Black Volcanic Sand Beach and Volcanoes National Park with all its lava tubes. We finished the tour with a 3-night stay in the Kaanapali area of Maui, near the Whalers Village, and enjoy a drive up to Haleakala Crater. And that's where you get views out over the island chain, above the clouds. It really is spectacular. And we wrap this tour up with a Hawaiian luau to take in the Polynesian culture, with dance, food, and a great farewell. So February is already a guaranteed departure, and we have trips in March and November as well for next year. Now, our Sierra Snow Train is a wonderful tour that starts the year off right on January 26th, and we arrive into Sacramento, California, and that is the state capital. So we stay 2 nights at the Hyatt or Embassy Suites and enjoy a visit to Old Town, and that's got a rich history from the Gold Rush period, as well as the railroad. We visit the California Railroad Museum and see a ton of history with its travel and connection of the Continental Railroad. We also enjoy the Aerospace Museum in California, and it has over 40 different historical aircrafts on display. That afternoon, we enjoy a brewery tour and tasting in that area. And then the following day, we'll take the Amtrak California Zephyr up and over the Sierra Nevada mountains, past the ski areas and Donner Lake, over to Reno, Nevada for a 2-night stay. And there's a domed car as part of that train, and you can go and sit and watch the world go by. Then they also have a snack and dining car on board with first come, first served service. From Reno, we take you to Lake Tahoe, and that's where you get a chance to experience one of the most crystal clear lakes at 97% clarity. This is also the largest alpine lake in North America, crossing 2 states. Then you'll see the National Auto Museum with an original collection of the Harrah's Hotel owner Bill Harrah. You'll go from there over to Virginia City, and that is home of the Comstock lode from the silver mining era of the late 1850s. So it's a fun ghost town that takes you back in history. And then you'll fly out of Reno, Nevada at the end. But January 26th, it's a fantastic time to go out to the state capital. Now, Santa Fe and the Land of Enchantments is a brand new tour for us. This tour combines some of the great features of the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, but we offer it in different times of the year outside of the fiesta, so that reduces some of the crowds. We fly in and out of Albuquerque and enjoy a 1-hotel stay in Santa Fe for 5 nights. Now, from here, we explore the Native American pueblo of Taos and a stop at Chamayo's El Santuario. So this is a historic chapel, which is part of an annual pilgrimage with over 300,000 people walking it each year. And we include city tours in both Santa Fe as well as Albuquerque. We take time to enjoy the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, the famous American painter. And if you've seen the movie Oppenheimer, you'll connect it with the Los Alamos Bradbury Science Center, and that focuses on the atomic bomb. We also include the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center to learn all about the Native Americans of the Southwest. So this 5-night, 6-day tour heads out with Deb Howard May 5th, and then a second departure November 3rd. Now, Great Trains and Grand Canyons is one of my favorite trips, not only as a tour manager, but also as a traveler. So we have so many different departures you can see above. This is our most popular West Coast tour. We start by flying into Phoenix and then stay 5 nights at one hotel in Sedona, surrounded by the beautiful Red Rocks. From there, we get to see Sedona on a trolley tour, and that also takes us up to the Chapel of the Holy Cross. And this is a beautiful church built up into the Red Rocks. Then from there, we go out to Williams. We take the Oak Creek Canyon, which is one of the most scenic routes getting up and over the plateau. From Williams, we take the Grand Canyon Railroad. That takes us up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. And we'll walk through the Bright Angel Lodge out to the back, and the Grand Canyon opens up in front of us. From there, we work our way back to Flagstaff for dinner. And then our following day, we go out to Verde Canyon. We'll start out with a trip to Montezuma's Castle. That's the cliff dwelling you see in the bottom left. And over 50 people used to live in this dwelling built up into the cliffs dating to around the year 1000. We'll then work our way over to the Verde Canyon, which is west of Sedona. And that's where we board a train car, first-class train, through the Verde Canyon. And this is one of the most green and lush parts of Arizona. And then we also have access to an open-air car. And that takes us with a naturalist on board who tells us all about the different landscape and layout. So wonderful program, 6 days, 5 nights into Arizona. Our Utah's Mighty National Parks tour is a tour that we introduced this year and had such success with it. So we've brought it back again. And this program is a wonderful 2-hotel stay. We start out by flying into Grand Junction in Colorado, and that's where we spend 1 night. From there, we'll do a welcome dinner. We'll also work our way around the Colorado National Monument, and this has an amazing diversity of geology as well as plant life. From there, we head off and take a scenic byway that travels along the Colorado River, and we end up in Moab for 5 nights. From Moab, we get to see a number of different national parks. We take you to Arches, and that has over 2,000 rock formations. Canyonlands, and that's the home of the Dead Horse State Park. And this is the bend of the Colorado River that's so famous. From there, we also head to the south, and that's where we take you to Monument Valley. And you can just picture John Wayne riding his horse through the valley. But we have several different departures from spring into fall, so May through October. Now, we're happy to provide this wonderful tour to the national parks of the great state of Colorado. We start out in Denver for a night with a welcome dinner and get acquainted with your fellow travelers. The next day, we head to the west, and that's towards Grand Junction, and we stop in Vail for the afternoon in this beautiful resort town. We spend 2 nights in Grand Junction, and that is a great hub for visits to Arches with over 2,000 rock formations, as well as Canyonlands with Dead Horse State Point. In Silverton, we take the Durango and Silverton train one way and stay 2 nights in the quaint town of Durango. Then from there, we take a day trip out to Mesa Verde National Park and its ancient Pueblo cliff dwellings. We'll stop at the Great Sand Dunes National Park to see the tallest dunes in North America. And then we stay 3 nights in Colorado Springs and include visits to the Air Force Academy, Garden of the Gods, as well as the U.S. Olympic Center. And we wrap up with a great farewell dinner and fly out of Denver on this trip. Now, Mount Rushmore is a wonderful program that starts out in Rapid City, and we work our way through the Badlands National Park to experience a wonderful geological gold field. And that has layers with different colored soil and rock that built up over thousands of years. We see Mount Rushmore in both day as well as night, and that's the illuminations experience. Then we head north to Deadwood, and we get to learn all about the golden era of gunfights, saloon brawls, and the Wild West with Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane. From there, it's off to see Devil's Tower National Monument, and then we enter Yellowstone National Park along the east entrance from Cody. And in Cody, we stop for the Buffalo Bill Cody Museum. We then enjoy a full day of touring of Yellowstone. That focuses on Old Faithful Geyser, Yellowstone Canyon, Yellowstone Lake, and many of the fountain pots and geysers and all different water features that make that park special. This is one park where you're most likely to see wildlife. And numerous times on tour, we've seen buffalo, elk, deer, and all sorts of other creatures. But we pass along the Grand Tetons Mountains en route to Jackson Hole for a night and finish this trip up with a city tour of Salt Lake before flying home. And June 19th is already a guaranteed departure, and August 21st we'll get there as well. So please don't wait. These tours are filling up fast. We've seen it with 2023, and we anticipate 2024 selling out a lot of our tours as the popularity in travel is coming back. Idaho Adventure is a wonderful program, and not a lot of tour companies offer trips up into Idaho, but it really does have some amazing scenery. And this trip starts out by flying into Spokane. We spend 2 nights at the Coeur d'Alene Resort, and that sits right on the lake there. We'll go out to Wallace, Idaho. That's home of a silver mine, and we take you on a silver mine tour. We then work our way south to Riggins, and we stay along the Salmon River, and that's where we do a jet boat and get to see the wildlife as well as the landscape. We'll head south, passing through McCall, and that's home of the Smoke Jumpers School. So where firefighters jump out of perfectly good airplanes and into forest fires. From there, it's down to Sun Valley, and this is a year-round resort. So not only skiing in the wintertime, but also all sorts of outdoor activities in the summer. And that's where we get to see a number of beautiful sights. We stay right at the Sun Valley Inn, which is a historic lodge. And then we talk a lot about Ernest Hemingway and his time there. So you'll see the Sun Valley Lodge and Old West Ketchum in your time. But this one has 2 great tour managers. We have Deb Howard on June 5th and then Chris McCool on September 18th. And a brand new tour for us is Sunny Tucson and the Old West. So you'll arrive into Phoenix and make your way south to the University town of Tucson for a 5-night stay. This is an Unpack Once tour, and this trip features a lot of highlights of the Wild West, and that includes a visit to the OK Corral, where in 1881, 4 men in long black coats strode down Fremont Street in Tombstone to fight Wyatt Earp. And he and his brothers fought the Clayton Gang with over 30 shots fired in 30 seconds. So some great stories are told by our tour managers about this era. And a highlight for many is the Bisbee visit, and we get to see the Queen Mine. So put your hard hats on and ride the train into the mine like they did in the 1870s and 80s. You'll also see one of the most incredible collections of stalactites and stalagmites in North America. And we visit the Kartchner Caverns State Park. It's located in southern Arizona. And our city tour of Tucson takes a look at the University of Arizona campus, the Old Town District, and a visit to the Air and Space Museum. We also enjoy Saguaro National Park, and that's pictured in the upper right. And seeing these incredible cacti, which are on the protected species list, is just amazing. It's illegal to cut down saguaro in Arizona, and this incredible desert landscape with rock formations and cacti is well worth a visit. So this tour heads out May 16th and November 10th. Now, for me, Black Hills and Badlands is a top 5 favorite national parks tour, as it's settled into Rapid City for 6 nights. We take the Buffalo Jeep Safari through Custer State Park and see several herd of buffalo up close but safely. Now, seeing Mount Rushmore is a highlight for many, as is our time in Badlands National Park. And our hotel is well situated, right next to downtown. So it's a very easy walk to town with some great restaurants and shopping. Then you'll get a chance to check out the Crazy Horse Memorial. It's taken decades to get to its current state, and probably decades more to finish it completely. But our trips to South Dakota run all summer long, and this is a can't-miss tour. Now, we have about 5 programs throughout the summer to the wonderful neighbors up north in Canada. And this tour, the Canadian Rockies and Glacier National Park, features ever-changing scenery and the majestic Rockies near Banff. So air travel will bring you into Calgary, home of the famous Stampede. You'll see Lake Louise, as well as Glacier National Park in the vast state of Montana. And the tour takes you to Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump, home of the First Nations and Native American buffalo hunting that's occurred here for centuries. You'll also experience a glacier up close and personal in the Icefields Parkway. And we head off on Canadian Rockies and Glacier National Park for 3 departures this year. So June, August, and September of 2024. Now, a simplified and condensed version of the Canadian Rockies is a program that provides a one-hotel stay in Banff for 5 nights and 6 days. This program starts at $36.99 and provides much of the same touring from one hotel. We also include a dinner on Chateau Lake Louise, and that is absolutely stunning. So this tour takes you out on the Columbia Icefields Ice Explorer and out to Emerald, Peyto, and Moraine Lakes, as well as a number of other sites like Yoho National Park. But beautiful, beautiful scenery as we travel. And this one has 2 different departures. So please join us July 14th or July 21st on our Canadian Rockies Unpack Once tour. Now, in the far eastern corner of Canada lies a land of ships, islands, and amazing scenery. And Nova Scotia combines incredible harbors with stories like Anne of Green Gables. And we include UNESCO World Heritage sites like the area of Lunenburg, the famous Cabot Trail with fishing villages and stunning coastal beauty. And we also enjoy a wonderful lobster dinner in Charlottetown and a visit to Prince Edward Island, and all while learning how life can be much slower in parts of North America. Now, both departures for this program, July 20th and August 10th, are already guaranteed to go already. So please come join us and sign up before they're sold out. Now, as I like to call it, this is the best of French Canada. We have 3 dates of the Great Canadian Cities program, and that features Montreal, Quebec, Toronto, and Ottawa. Each offer a wonderful city tour with locals who can describe life and experiences in this part of the world. So you'll enjoy a 1,000 Islands cruise to see some tiny little islands that some consider the smallest inhabited places in the world. Another great feature is getting to see Niagara Falls on this tour, and that has 2 nights, including a boat ride to see the power of the falls from below. And then our farewell dinner on this tour is at the Skylon Tower, and that's where you can see Niagara Falls from 775 feet up. So just absolutely incredible in terms of its scenery, and a lot of activities included on this, including our O Canada A show. It's a wonderful farewell. So this one heads out 3 times next year, June, July, and September. Now, DC cherry blossoms. This is a great time to go to our nation's capital, right in the heart of April, and that's when the cherry blossoms are generally peaking. So as most gardeners know, you can never guarantee when a plant is going to bloom, but this is within that time range of a couple of weeks. So we start out with 5 nights in the DC area. We visit Arlington National Cemetery, and that's where we can pay our respects to our nation's servicemen and women. From there, we also enjoy the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and then we come back into the city to visit Ford's Theater, and this is where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. An incredible museum in the basement, and then you'll have time to explore the theater on your own. We work from there into the city center and also get to enjoy the Smithsonian Institutes. So you'll be taken to a couple of different institutes in the morning and then have time in the afternoon to explore any of the others that are stretched out along the Capitol Mall. We also work our way out to the Library of Congress and see the Capitol Visitor Center as well. And then my favorite part of this tour is going down to Mount Vernon. And this is George and Martha Washington's estate. So you get to tour the estate, the farm, the house, as well as see George Washington's gravesite right at the base of the river. So a wonderful program. Heads out April 8th, and it is already guaranteed. Our San Antonio Fiesta is a wonderful place to visit, going into San Antonio for 4 nights, and this is April 19th. We start out with a city tour in San Antonio. That focuses on the Alamo. We get to see the IMAX, the showing of what happened at the Alamo. And then we head over to Mission San Jose on the city tour as well. And that's one of the many Spanish missions built around the 17 and 1800s. The main part of this tour, the focal point of the fiesta, is the Texas Cavaliers River Parade. And that's put on by the U.S. Army. So the nation's servicemen and women put this show on, and it's a floating parade along the Riverwalk. So we get to see a number of different floats and a very enjoyable experience there. Then we head off to the Tower of the Americas in San Antonio, and it's a wonderful experience getting to be quite high above the city. We'll take a private cruise along the Paseo del Rio. That's the river right along the River Walk. And then we head off to the state capital, and that is Austin, Texas. So we'll visit the LBJ Library, Lyndon B. Johnson, and that is on the campus of the University of Texas. So we get to enjoy that as well. And then one of my other favorites on this tour is going up to the Hill Country. That's the home of wine growth in Texas. And Fredericksburg is a small German town settled by a lot of German movers. Within Fredericksburg is also the National Museum of the Pacific War. And this is dedicated to Admiral Chester Nimitz. He was the admiral of the U.S. Navy during World War II. It's an incredible museum, so vast and so much to offer and see there. And then we also get to see the LBJ Ranch, and that's where the family raised heads of cattle. The home's currently under construction and repairs, but we get to see the property there as well. And then the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. So all incorporated with 4 nights and 5 days on this great tour. And next is our Nashville and Smoky Mountains trip. And we introduced Nashville and Smoky Mountains this year, and it's been a big hit. We actually have one heading off yesterday. One just took off. So we'll fly into Louisville, into Kentucky, and stay 2 nights at either the Galt House or Brown Hotel. We start the trip with a visit to the Mecca of horse racing at Churchill Downs. And then you'll tour the Kentucky Derby Museum that preserves the legacy of the longest continuously running sporting event in the country. The Louisville Slugger Museum journeys through the history of baseball. And you can't go to Kentucky without learning about its heritage, and that comes with bourbon. So we visit the Evan Williams Distillery for the bourbon experience. We then drive to the Ark Encounter, and that features a full-size Noah's Ark, built according to the dimensions given in the Bible. And as we leave Louisville and head into Lexington, that's where we visit the Kentucky Horse Park, and that celebrates man's relationship with this majestic animal. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is a scenic wilderness area that covers about 800 square miles, and it's home to some of the highest peaks in the Appalachian Mountains, and a number of species of animals like the black bear, wild boar, and foxes. Then you'll get to see the Biltmore Estate on this trip and enjoy time in Nashville with a city tour that has the Grand Ole Opry incorporated. But we have a departure in the spring with April 24th, and then the fall for April 25th. And Niagara Falls and the Grand Hotel is probably one of our most popular tours that we offer. This one heads out and into Detroit, and we stay in Dearborn for 2 nights. From Dearborn, we get to see some great exhibits at the River Rouge plant. That is where the Ford F-150 trucks are being built. So you actually get to look out over the assembly line as these trucks are assembled and put together. From there, we head over to the Henry Ford Museum, and this is an amazing museum featuring a lot of Henry Ford's historical collection. We make our way to the north, getting up to Mackinac Island, and this is car-free. So we actually take a ferry about 15 or 20 minutes over to the island, and that's where we are picked up by horse-drawn carriage and taken up to the Grand Hotel. So this is probably our most popular Midwest tour. We do a tour around Mackinac Island by horse-drawn carriage as well. And then we're down into Frankenmuth, and this is a Bavarian-style town. It's home to one of the largest one of the largest Christmas stores. The size of a Costco is where I was going with that. And then we're over to Niagara Falls for the last 2 nights. And this is an amazing sight to see. We get to enjoy the Maid of the Mist cruise, as well as an area tour, and get to walk along the Niagara River. So a wonderful program heading out from May all the way through October of 2024. And we start Savannah and Charleston in Charleston, and we fly in for 2 nights there. And this was a city founded in 1670. It was a massive port city in both the Revolutionary and Civil Wars. And downtown Charleston is a charming southern city with waterfront park and beautiful architecture. We take you on a city tour, as well as getting to see Middleton Place. And located along the Ashley River in Charleston, Middleton Place is a rare survivor of the American Revolution, Civil War, and it also survived a number of different natural disasters. After a 2-night stay, we continued to Beaufort, and that's where you'll enjoy a carriage ride and a city tour through the quaint small town. Now, settled in 1733, Savannah is one of the oldest cities in the country, and it was one of the first planned cities. The iconic fountains and public parks go really well with its antebellum architecture and lovely community. And we lead you on a city tour here as well. Then in Jekyll Island is a big highlight for many of our travelers, and we stay 2 nights at the Jekyll Island Resort. The island was sold to a group of very wealthy individuals who formed the Jekyll Island Club in the late 1800s, and that included such families like the Rockefellers, Pulitzers, Vanderbilts, and many more. And this is a great program, especially coming from the West Coast, where you can learn much about our country's history. But our March and April programs are already guaranteed to go. October and November, we anticipate to grow as the year goes on. But don't wait, especially on this program. Best of Chicago is a wonderful Unpack Once tour, generally staying at the Palmer House Hilton in downtown Chicago. Beautiful historic property right in the heart of the city. And from there, we work our way out to Oak Park, and that's where Frank Lloyd Wright's home and studio is located. We also get to see the Art Institute in downtown Chicago. And then we wrap this tour up out in Cantigny Park, and that's a beautiful park, mansion, and World War II museum. But one of the great features on this is we get to see Chicago in multiple facets. We do a regular city tour by motor coach. We also do a architectural cruise by the river. So we go on a river cruise up, and that's the location that they turn green every year for St. Patrick's Day. You'll see the sky deck at the top of the Willis Tower, and then we also see the city as part of the gangster tour of Chicago and the Untouchables experience. So a wonderful program heading out May 23rd and August 8th. Music Cities in Branson, starting out up in Missouri. We'll fly into St. Louis and stay the night, incorporating a city tour where we get to see the Arch. From there, it's down into Branson, and this is the show capital of the U.S. So a lot of different shows that we incorporate with the Dutton family, Doug Gabriel and Yakov Smirnoff. We then joined the Showboat Branson Belle as part of a dinner cruise. From Branson, we head down to Little Rock, Arkansas, and that's where we spend some time at the Bill Clinton Presidential Library. As we continue to the east, we spend 2 nights in Memphis. That is home of the blues, and that's where we get to go out on Beale Street and enjoy a dinner in the heart of the different clubs of music. From there, it's off into Graceland, and we get to see Elvis Presley's Graceland home. It's a beautiful, beautiful building, and Elvis was constantly doing upgrades, so he made one of the rooms into a jungle-themed room. Quite impressive. From there, over to Nashville, and we wrap up the tour with 2 nights in Nashville, home of country music. So each town has different styles. Country music and the Country Music Hall of Fame are a big part of our city tour. And then we also get to see the Grand Ole Opry on this tour. But this one has departures April 18th and October 10th. Now, Cape Cod and the Islands is a wonderful program. We used to do it as a 1 hotel stay, realized that travel day is quite long. So we programmed 1 night on arrival into Boston. And that's where we'll do a city tour with Faneuil Hall, the Boston Commons area, this massive park, as well getting to see the USS Constitution. From Boston, we head out to Plymouth and Plymouth Plantation. So that's where a recreated ship, the Mayflower II, is located. And then we spend 5 nights in either Hyannis or Yarmouth as our main hubs. So we get to stay out there and go out to Provincetown, which is at the tip of the north end of the Cape. We also take 2 different ferries on this program. We'll go out to Martha's Vineyard, and then we'll also take a ferry to Nantucket. And within Nantucket is a wonderful whaling museum that talks a lot about the wealth that was incorporated through this wonderful industry, getting to take you into the background of what the Cape's all about. So with whaling, you get that museum incorporated. And then we have a fantastic lobster farewell dinner and learn all about the lobster process of cracking that baby open and enjoying this specialty item. So we depart from June all the way through October on this program. So if you're looking for best weather scenarios, June, July, and August, If you're looking for those fall colors and the beautiful changes, September and October are fantastic. New York City and the Hudson Valley is a great combination of big city life and outskirts of New York. So we spend 3 nights in the city, getting to enjoy a lot of what the city has to offer on our city tour. We take you out to the Statue of Liberty as well as to Ellis Island. Then we also work our way back in and see the different neighborhoods of New York. So Little Italy and Chinatown. We'll go to the 9/11 Memorial, and this is one of the most touching exhibits. We'll get to see the museum. And then a trip out to a Broadway show one of the nights while we're in town. Then one of the other nights you'll have on your own, you can explore and even book a Broadway show on your own. From the city, we work our way up to the valley, and that's where we go to West Point, and we'll tour the military academy there. We also work our way over to Hyde Park, and this is Franklin Delano Roosevelt's home. And so a beautiful facility, as well as they moved Eleanor's home to that same site. Then New Paltz is a really interesting location. This was home of the Huguenots, and so these were some of the first immigrants to the United States in the 1600s, came over from the Netherlands and France, and that also incorporates some of the Native American culture as well. We'll take you up to a syrup farm and get to try that wonderful maple syrup, and then we also incorporate a Hudson River cruise on this trip. So we have 2 different departures, September and October. Now, Coastal Maine Lighthouses and Landscapes is an amazing program. We fly into Boston for a 1-night stay and enjoy a Boston city tour. A big difference on this city tour is a chance to see Fenway Park, and that's home of the Boston Red Sox. It's also the oldest ballpark in America. We work our way north to either Portland or Kennebunkport, Maine for a 5-night stay, and we explore the coast and enjoy delicious seafood with a lobster dinner. One of the highlights on this program is seeing the Portland Head Lighthouse, and it's a stunning view looking out over the ocean there. You'll also enjoy the lobster boat cruise, and that shows you how fishermen catch this delicacy. But a lot to offer. We also take you up to Booth Bay and do a cruise out from there. And then the optional tour on this program is to the botanical gardens, and those are just majestic. So August, September, and October for this tour. Then Pittsburgh and Fallingwater, a wonderful program of 4 nights and 5 days right in the heart of Pittsburgh. And so each day we go out on different excursions. We start out with a city tour to get you accustomed to the area, get to show you the ballpark, which is PNC Park. Then we also go up the Duquesne Incline Tram, and that's a view from Mount Washington out over the city. So you get to see the different rivers, and it's on one of the lists of best views in the entire country. We'll take you to a few of the museums in town, the Carnegie Museum of Art, and then the River of Steel exhibit. And then one of the great sites we go is the historic Fort Pitt, and that was built during the French Indian War. And then a highlight for most is going to Frank Lloyd Wright's Fallingwater. Now, this was a summer home for a retail shop owner that had numerous stores within Pittsburgh and the Pennsylvania area. And he decided in the 1930s to build a home out in the outskirts. And the person who built a lot of the retail shops ended up working for him on his home, and that was Frank Lloyd Wright. So this home incorporates natural landscape architecture named after the waterfall that's coming down from the building, and a beautiful site with incredible antique furniture and all sorts of great insights there. We'll take you to the Flight 93 Memorial as well, and this program was a great mystery tour. It was so successful as a mystery tour that people kept asking us to incorporate on a regular basis. But we head out on this October 7th. I'm very excited about this program. This is Normandy, Paris, and the Seine River. So we start out April 16th. We just had a couple of cabins open up, but this was sold out for the last couple of months. But we have a couple of cabins available, and that's traveling with Deb Howard. So both April 16th and October 8th. We have 5 cabins remaining with Deb. I believe they're category D. And then October 29th, I only do about 1 or 2 trips a year anymore. I used to do about 20 tours as a tour manager each year. But with the office and marketing, it's been great to be out on the road every once in a while. And October 29th is the one I'll be leading. So we fly into Paris on this cruise, and this is where we board the Amadeus Diamond. So we board the ship as soon as we get in. From there, we head off up along the Seine River, and this is both industrious as well as a beautiful area of scenery. We'll start out with a stop in Conflans, and that's a tour that we'll do to Auvers-sur-Oise. This is the home of Vincent van Gogh for a period of time towards the end of his life, and you get to see all different artworks that he did. A lot of the landscape around the area were inspirations to him. From there, it's up to the city of Rouen, and this is one of the largest cities in all of Normandy. So incredible sights to see there. It's also incorporating the story of Joan of Arc. And then within Rouen is a beautiful astronomical clock, and we get the afternoon after our city tour at leisure, so you can borrow one of the bikes from the ship. You can also walk out and explore or grab a drink at one of the many cafes in town. From Rouen, it's up to some of my favorite parts of this trip, and that is Étretat. Now, Étretat are the beautiful cliffs that shoot out over the Atlantic Ocean with amazing archways. I'll show you here in just a moment. And then from there, we're off over for a full day tour of the D-Day beaches and Normandy. So we start out at Pont du Hoc. That is where the Army Rangers scaled 100-foot cliffs to fight off the Germans. From there, we go over to Omaha Beach, and that is one of 2 beachheads that the Americans landed at on June 6, 1944. We'll see the American Cemetery in Colville, and this is where over 9,000 servicemen are buried. And every half hour they play taps over the loudspeaker, and it brings you to tears. It's one of the most incredible experiences to take this all in. And then we wrap it up with a lunch included out and about in Normandy. And then we also visit a museum dedicated to D-Day. So a wonderful full experience for Americans to go out to the D-Day beaches of Normandy. And then en route back towards Paris, we also stop at a town called Honfleur, and that is part of an optional tour that we offer. This is a beautiful little harbor town with cafes surrounding the harbor. We'll do a walking tour there, and then we'll also go out and make our way down the river towards Gavarnie, and this is where Monet's house and garden is located. So a wonderful stop there as well. In Paris, once we arrive back into the city, we'll do a full city tour that focuses on the Arc de Triomphe, the Louvre. You get to see the Eiffel Tower and so much more. And then that afternoon, we also offer an optional tour out to Montmartre. Then at the end of the program, this is a 9-day tour with 20 meals. So all of our meals on board the ships are included, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We also have snack time, usually around 4 o'clock, with little pastries and small sandwiches. And then in the evening, we have free wine, beer, and soft drinks on all of our cruises for dinners. So included with our dinners, free wine, beer, and soft drinks. We also offer free Wi-Fi on all of our cruises, and that's another great feature to stay connected with friends and family. And then after the cruise, we have a 2-night extension offer up to London, and that is taken by high-speed rail. So we'll take the Eurostar from Paris to London and spend 2 nights in that beautiful city. We'll do a city tour there, and that's with one of our many tour managers. So great program, heading out 3 times next year. Again, limited space, so please make sure you book soon. And here's a quick look at the program. Now that video is available on our YouTube channel, AFC Vacations. So if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. And going into our next program, this is the highlights of the Douro with Spain. And this is a beautiful program. We have 2 different dates on, October 28th and November 4th. So a lot to offer on this program. A lot of people haven't heard of the Douro before, but pretty much everyone's heard of Portugal. And this is an amazing country with so much to offer. We start out with round trip air into Porto. There's a big city with a lot to offer there. And we board the ship, the Amalia Rodrigues, and that was built in 2019, so newer ship. It's built specifically for the Douro River, so makes it easy to traverse the terrain. And as we board the ship, we'll also do a Porto city tour that focuses on the stock exchange from the late 1700s, early 1800s. And then we'll do a port wine tasting there. Now, Porto was the hub of transportation for port wine. And so you get to try both white as well as red port wines, so tawny and ruby. And then we work our way over to Regua, and this is where we visit the Vila Real. That is founded in 1289 by King Denis of Portugal, and that's where the Mateus Palace is located. This was built in 1743 and is incredible design on the interior, amazing woodwork, as well as an incredible garden in the back. From there, we also work our way out to the town of Pinau, and this is the largest town outside of Porto on the river. So from there, we do a full day tour out to Salamanca, Spain, and that incorporates lunch. So all of our meals are incorporated on board, with the exception of lunch out in Salamanca. And this is home to an incredible cathedral. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the university. And that university dates to 1218. And then from Pinau, we also work our way out and do another optional wine tasting. So great feature on this cruise, a lot of different chances to try wine in that area. And then we visit Lamegos, Portugal. And this is a very small picturesque town. Old Town is rich in history. And then off to Guimarães. So wonderful stops along the river. And then on this tour, we also have an open bar on board. So that's everything except for premium drinks. Those are able to be charged to your onboard account. We also have Wi-Fi included on this cruise. So the open bar is specific to the Douro River. And then in each of the ports, we bring on local entertainers. So we do a flamenco show one night after coming back from Spain. We also do a fado show, and fado means fate in Portuguese. So it talks about the nostalgia, lost sailors at sea, and so much more. And then different folklore shows on board as well. So 7 nights aboard the Amalia Rodrigues, and then we offer a 3-night extension to Lisbon at the end. And this takes us for 3 nights in the city, but we also do a city tour as well as other areas. So we go out to Fatima, Óbidos, and Nazaré. Nazaré is famous for its massive 80-foot waves that surfers try to conquer. And then we also get to see Sintra and the Sintra Palace as part of that optional. So wonderful locations included with the optional tour. So 2 departures for next year, October 28th, which is already filling up. And we just added November 4th. So another great opportunity to see this area. And just for perspective of what you're going to see on this cruise, as we make our way up the river, this is the majority of the scenery. So you get to see these amazing terraces, endless vineyards, and stunning beauty. There's a couple of points along the river that it's more cliffs, granite cliffs that are quite impressive as well. But each day as we do our trips out and about, we have 6 tours included and 1 optional. So you'll get to see a lot of these beautiful terraces, make for great photos. And we captured the right-hand side and the bottom photos in person last April. Our next cruise is our Vienna and Christmas markets of the Danube. And this is a wonderful program, great time of year to go to Europe. We start out in Frankfurt, and Frankfurt was bombed during World War II. Much of the city is modern in architecture, but there are still some old parts of Frankfurt remaining. We'll take you into the city after arrival, giving you a chance to see the Christmas markets there. And then we'll drive down to Rothenburg the next day. And Rothenburg is a medieval walled city, an incredible design, and then we'll do a walking tour there. From Rothenburg, we end up in Nuremberg, and that's where we board the MS Amadeus Kara. And this is a brand new ship built in 2022, and that's where we spend 6 nights aboard it. So similar to the other programs, we have wine, beer, and soft drinks included with dinner, as well as free Wi-Fi. From Nuremberg, we do a city tour, and that focuses on the Nuremberg trials. And then at the end of the tour, we end up at the Christmas market for some time on your own. We'll make our way from Nuremberg to Regensburg, and this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Incredible old town city center, and a great walking tour that we do there. We'll end up our last time in Germany in Passau, and that's where we do a full day extension or optional tour to Salzburg. So learn about the sound of music, the amazing dome, as well as Mozart. And then we meet the ship in Linz, and that's where we head off to Melk and the Melk Abbey. It's an incredible Benedictine abbey on the water's edge overlooking the valley. And then to finish out, we end up in Vienna for a couple of nights on board the ship. And this is a major city for music as well as architecture. We'll do a city tour. And then we also have an optional to the Schönbrunn Palace at the end here. And Schönbrunn was the home of the Habsburg dynasty for many, many years. But this one heads out December 2nd. And just to give you a glimpse of the ship, this is the Amadeus Kara, very new and updated in terms of its design. So very fun to board this brand new ship. The next program I'll talk about is our Treasures of Croatia and Slovenia. And this is a brand new tour to us. We just added this to our slate. And this has 6 different UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So amazing sites to see. We'll fly into Zagreb on this program, and that's where we spend 2 nights. We'll work our way on a city tour there, and then head off into Slovenia. And that's where we visit Ljubljana, the city. So we'll do a city tour in Ljubljana, as well as a trip out to Lake Bled. And this is an amazing sight to see. Incredible waters of the lake. And then we visit Bled Castle, and that's home to a still operating printing press. From there, we make our way down to the south. We visit the coastal cities of Zadar, Troger, as well 2 nights in both Split and Dubrovnik on this program, and city tours all throughout. And one of my favorite places on this program is going up to Plitvice Lakes, and this is a national park right in the heart of Croatia. So we spend a night there and getting to see these beautiful, beautiful lakes as well as waterfalls. This program is 11 days and 9 nights with 15 meals incorporated, and we head off October 15th and November 6th. But just to give you some perspective on this tour, this is Plitvice, and it's an incredible destination. Amazing waterfalls, like I mentioned, about 16 different lakes, and that water is just crystal clear. So this is in the fall time, and a good experience to show you the different colors, and that's pictured in the bottom right. And then Lake Bled, amazing little lake island right in the middle, and then the castle overlooking the lake up on the right side. So really impressive area to travel through. Next is a program that I'm really excited about. I got to go out and scout this tour. This is Venice and the Italian Lakes. Many years ago, we ran a different version of this, and it's great to bring it back. We start out on this program with a night in Milan, and Milan's walking tour. We incorporate the La Scala Theater, as well as a number of other sites, including the Duomo, the cathedral in town. And then based on availability, tickets are very difficult to come by for the Da Vinci's Last Supper, but we do try to get those tickets for this program, but it is based on availability. And then as we make our way from Milan, we'll work up to the Italian lakes, and we stay on either Lake Como or Lake Maggiore on this tour. Both are very, very beautiful in style. So from there, in 5 nights, we work our way up to Switzerland for a day, and we go over to Lugano. This is an amazing variety and difference of cultures. So you incorporate some of the Swiss culture, German culture, French, and Italian, all combined into this small little town that sits on the lake, outlooking these beautiful mountains. Then we work our way from there. We go out to Lake Maggiore and the town of Stresa. This is a beautiful lakeside town. And then Lago di Orta, Lake Orta, and that's a little bit further to the west. From there, we continue to the east after 5 nights and make our way to Venice. We'll also do a wine tasting and lunch on our way out, and that is towards Lake Iseo. And Iseo is a beautiful, beautiful lake in the central part of the country. From there, as we arrive into Venice Mestre, we work our way by train each day into the city. And here is where we get a chance to take one of the famous gondolas. So we do a gondola ride through Venice. We also take a boat out to both Murano and Burano. So Murano, famous for its glass, and we do a glass demonstration. We also go out to Burano, and this is the site with all these beautiful multicolored homes, incredible pastel colors, and one of the most picturesque places I've ever seen. But this program is 11 days, 15 meals incorporated. We have a March, October, and November departure. And just to give you a perspective on what lake life is all about in Italy, the lakes stretch primarily in the northern part of the country, and you get towns and areas like this. This is an amazing site on Lake Como, so similar with Lake Maggiore. Very similar styles of architecture all along the lakefronts. So beautiful homes and mansions. And then into Venice, and of course we know the famous Dome and St. Mark's Square, but amazing waterways throughout the lagoon. So it's an incredible place to travel through, especially as we do our gondola ride and also on the boat. And then this is Burano, these incredible pastel homes, amazing little shops and restaurants. So we'll spend an afternoon here on this tour. Then Iceland Explorer. This is a program we've been doing for quite some time. And this starts with 5 nights in Reykjavik. So a wonderful hub. And as tourism has continued to increase into Iceland, they've done a great job keeping up with it by building new restaurants and buildings and hotels. One of the great parts of this trip is going to the Blue Lagoon, and we get to see that in its entirety. We get to enjoy that. We do a Golden Circle tour as well as a tour around the south coast of Iceland. And then we visit a number of the different waterfalls on this program, like Skagafoss, as well as the Viking Ship Museum. So wonderful program heading out June, September, and October of 2024. Now, England, Scotland, Wales is an incredible trip incorporating 3 countries. We start out by flying into Edinburgh in the north and working our way south. So 2 nights in this incredible city, getting a chance to visit the castle. We also do a great Scotch whiskey tasting on this program. We go from Edinburgh down to York and spend 1 night in York. And then one of the biggest attractions on this tour is going to Stonehenge and getting to see these amazing features here. We do Stratford upon Avon to learn both about William Shakespeare as well as Anne Hathaway's cottage. And then 2 nights in London to wrap this program up with the city tour and the changing of the guard based on timing. So April 17th and October 9th are already guaranteed status. So these programs are already filling up quite quickly. October 30th, we anticipate being there as well, but 9 days and 10 meals incorporated. Then Treasures of Ireland. Ireland is one of the most beautiful countries, all green, all amazing and lush. We start out by flying into Dublin, and that's where we spend 2 nights. We work our way on a city tour that features the Book of Kells, and then from Dublin, we head out to the west, and this is an amazing spot. Very much countryside, but also these amazing cliffs, like the Cliffs of Moher. From there, we work our way from Limerick for 2 nights and up to Galway, and this university town is very, very lively. Then off down into Killarney, and that's our hub for the Ring of Kerry. It's an amazing peninsula that jets out to the west. And then up back into Dublin for our last night, and that's where we stay in a castle for an evening. So you truly get to feel the Irish experience. And then we do a 2-night extension up to Belfast, And that's where we head off to the Titanic Museum as well as the Giant's Causeway. A lot of different items to offer on this program. And then we have March, April, October, and November departures, but 10 days and 12 meals included. Spain and Portugal, a wonderful program that heads off in March. And then this one takes us into Lisbon. So we start out in Lisbon in Portugal for 2 nights. And that's where we do a city tour that features the Alfama district. From there, it's over to Evora. And this little town was a Roman colony dating back to the 2nd or 3rd century BC. And then into Seville as we cross the border into Spain. That is home of the 3rd largest cathedral in the world. So we'll get to tour the cathedral as well as the city of Seville. And that's also home of the tomb of Christopher Columbus. From Seville, it's over to Granada, and that's where we see the Alhambra Palace. And then we wrap the program up with 2 nights in Madrid, an amazing architectural city, and then a 2-night extension offer to Barcelona. And then you can fly out from either Madrid or Barcelona on this program. So March 14th in the springtime, we anticipate this one heading out the door. Then Tuscany Culinary Experience. This is one I had the privilege of leading last year in October and had a great time on this trip. So what we do on this trip is flying round trip into Florence. We work our way into Chianti. This is the wine region of Italy. So Tuscany is the main region. Chianti is where they make the wine primarily in the hills. And so we stay 7 nights in one hotel. From there, we do a full-day city tour in Florence that focuses on the Accademia, the museum, and that is where the Michelangelo's David is located. From there, we also walk along the Duomo, and that is the famous cathedral in town. So we learn about the art competitions for both the baptistry as well as the dome. And then over to the Ponte Vecchio. That is Florence's old bridge. It was the gold market. And then on our way, we also have some free time in the afternoon. So grab some lunch and explore the city as it's meant to be. It's a very easy walking city, all flat, and a great place to explore. Now, this program focuses on culinary opportunities. We get to enjoy a cooking class. We do a number of different wine tastings. And then we do a pecorino cheese tasting in Montalcino. So great features there. We do lunch at a saffron-producing farmhouse. And then we head down to Lake Trasimeno. And that's where we do a cruise out about 30 minutes on the lake over to the Isola Maggiore. That is a small fishing island. And that's where we have a great lunch out on the lake. We'll visit the towns of San Gimignano, the town of towers, and that has about 12 remaining towers from medieval times. We'll see Volterra, also a hillside town, and Siena, home of Il Palio, the famous horse race. And this program heads off March 19th, April 23rd, October 1st, 15th, and November 5th. So really well-organized program. So much great offers incorporated with it, with those cooking classes and all sorts of different tastings. Roman Country Roads of Tuscany is a little variance to that. We spend 5 nights in Montecatini Terme, and that's just to the west of Florence. This is a small spa town, so it has a spring heading down from the mountain into the lower portion. And this has all sorts of great spas and resorts. So we'll stay 5 nights at one of those resorts. From there, we head off to Lucca and Pisa. Pisa with its famous Leaning Tower, and Lucca with its medieval wall. Down into San Gimignano and Siena as well, and a full day tour of Florence. And then as we head down to Rome, we'll stop in Assisi. And this was famous for St. Francis of Assisi. So we'll tour the cathedral there as well as a walking tour. And then we wrap this trip up in Rome for 2 nights. That's where we do a city tour, and that focuses on the Vatican. So March 19th is already a guaranteed status, and November 5th we'll get there as well throughout the year. Then if you want to really explore the south in Italy, the Amalfi Coast is one of the most amazing sights to see. We'll start out by flying into Rome and head straight down into Sorrento for 5 nights. And I think one of the big highlights on this program is going to Pompeii. And that's where you get to see the differences of Herculaneum and Pompeii, the after effects of Mount Vesuvius's eruption, and all the remnants that stay. We'll drive along the Amalfi, getting to see some of the amazing towns built up on the hillsides. And then we'll also do a couple of optional trips out to the Isle of Capri, out in the ocean, which is absolutely beautiful. And then also up to Naples. And Naples was the heart of pizza. That's where pizza was invented. So you can't go wrong there. We'll do a couple of tastings as well. We'll do a cheese tasting of fresh mozzarella cheese. It's an amazing opportunity there. And then we'll do a limoncello demonstration. That's the lemon liqueur, as the citrus industry out on the Cape, out on the coast is really incredible. But this one heads off March, October, and November, and March is already guaranteed. Athens and the Greek Isles, April 30th and October 8th. We stay 3 nights in Athens, 2 on the front end and 1 on the back. Do a city tour in Athens, and that focuses on the Acropolis, as well as the Acropolis Museum. And in the base of the museum are glass floors, so you can actually see an archaeological dig going on still. We'll head out from there over to the Isles of Mykonos and Santorini. And we do 2 nights of each, so 2 nights on both islands, as well as a tour of Delos, which is an amazing archaeological site. Then we come back into Athens, and we have a 3-night extension available to the north. That's to Kalambaka, Meteora, and Delphi. So amazing sights to see on this program. 9 days and 10 meals included, and then that 3-night optional if you choose to do so at the end. Alpine Swiss Villages is a wonderful tour. This focuses on the heart of Switzerland to some of the small towns. So you get away from the big cities after we leave Zurich. We land and spend the night there. And then we're off over to the town of Wengen. And this is a beautiful mountainside town looking out over the Alps. And this program also focuses on the different styles of transportation throughout Switzerland. So we'll leave the motor coach behind, and we'll be taking the cogway as well as the train all throughout the country. Getting to see these small little towns like Grindelwald and Gimmelwald. Brienz, this is where we'll do a lake cruise. So you get to see the beautiful waters, crystal clear alpine waters. And then we also do an optional out to Zermatt and the Matterhorn. So wonderful trips. We have 4 different departures, and August 20th is already sold out. So please don't wait to book. These trips are going fast. And last but not least is Australia and New Zealand. And this is a wonderful opportunity. It's finally great to be able to say these destinations are back open again after 3 years in the pandemic. So February 19th is almost sold out. March 11th is already at a guaranteed status. And then October 21st still has space as well. But we start out by flying into Sydney. That's where we'll do a city tour. We'll get to go into the Opera House and do a full tour in the opera, getting to see the shelled roof. And then from there, we head over to the Botanical Garden. And that's a great view of the harbor, the Opera House, as well as the Harbor Bridge. An amazing plant life growing there. From there, we work our way up to Cairn, and that's where we jump off for the Great Barrier Reef. And we get to see this in a couple of different fashions. We'll do a boat cruise out there. We'll also get a chance to snorkel if you wish to do so, or do a nature hike. So a lot of great features. From Cairn, we work our way down to Melbourne. And Melbourne is a very cultural city, amazing museums, very modern architecture. And then over to Queenstown on the South Island. And that's where we see Milford Sound, beautiful waterways pictured in the right corner. And then from there up into the North Island. So we incorporate the Hobbit Town, which is the movie set from Lord of the Rings. We'll also take you to the National Kiwi Hatchery. And that's where these little creatures pictured in the bottom left are being raised and brought back to their population. We'll work from there up to Rotorua on the North Island. And I always say the South Island is more scenic, the North Island is more cultural. And we go to Rotorua, which is a thermal reserve, amazing sights to see, similar to Yellowstone. And then up to the Maori Center, Maori Cultural Center. And that's where we learn about the haka, their famous dance, as well as a number of other exhibits. From there, it's over to Auckland, and that's where we'll fly out of. So 17 days, because if you're going to fly out to Australia and New Zealand, you might as well make it worth your while. So a lot of great features on this program and 24 meals. That pays for the tour itself. And then we also partner with a number of different companies, including the American Queen Steamboat. And this one does not only Mississippi River cruises in different facets, so you can do portions or you can do the entire length. And it also does a stern or paddle wheeler on the Columbia River, splitting Oregon and Washington and into Idaho a little bit. So there's great history with that and Lewis and Clark, but a lot of great features there in different massive cities that are fun to explore. And then we partner with a couple of cruise lines. We work with Holland America as well as Princess Cruises, and they have so many different wonderful cruises to experience. So if you're looking for a more big ship experience, this is the way to go. If you're looking for the small experience with lower numbers of passengers, our European river cruises are a great feature. And then at the end of the show, I always talk about these wonderful show specials that make it worth your while to stick around and hear it all out. So if you book a new 2024 tour or river cruise by Friday, September 29th, we'll reduce the deposits to $299. So that's only available to show attendees. Then we'll also reduce the travel insurance. So we have a great travel insurance plan available to you that has a cancel for any reason benefit. And we'll reduce $20 off of that as well if you pay for it with deposit. As I mentioned earlier in the show, our early booking savings are a great way to save money. So you can save up to $200 on our European river cruises and up to $100 on most domestic and international programs. Again, being one of the first 20 to book gets the highest category there. And then paying by check as part of your final payment are two features that apply there. Our one cabin category upgrades are good for either of our 3 river cruises. So whether it's Normandy, the Douro, or the Christmas markets of Vienna and the Danube. So what this means is if you book a category D, you're upgraded to a category C, a little bit more space and different window styles. This does not apply to the suites. So anything from category E to A. So I always recommend people booking category C and bumping up to B or B to A. And then this saves anywhere between about $200 to $400 per person. So on top of all the different savings we're offering, it's a great way to save money and get to travel. So you must use the savings code PREVIEW24 by next Friday, September 29th for these to apply. And then how you can book is call our 1-800-369-3693. Email Joe, Holly, or April at afctours.com or visit our website at afcvacations.com. And there's a segment for forms. So easy ways to book. And as our founder, Randy Case, used to say, one call does it all. So it makes it easy talking to these individuals and making your booking today. Thank you from all of us with the AFC family, whether it's our tour managers, our team in the office, Matt and I. We really appreciate your time with us today, as well as your continued loyalty to AFC. And that's why we did incorporate the Travelers Club. So it's a great way to save money. But if you do have any questions, any feedback about the show, you can always email April at afctours.com. And again, we're ready to take your bookings and excited for a great 2024 travel season. So thanks so much for joining us and have a great rest of your day.